is up, everybody? It's your boy Forbes here for the first game of this RFL doubleheader. We have the Voyagers taking on the Steamers in the first game tonight. What a huge offseason for both of those teams. You have the Voyagers making a lot of offseason moves. You know, not a lot of drafting for the Voyagers here. You know, they didn't have any picks in these first couple of rounds, but they went ahead, got some of these late picks. But the real story is the Steamers. You know, barely won their division, had to win it week 18. You know, won in a two-way tie with the Shamrocks at 9-8. Made the playoffs, won their division. But they go out and lose to the Condors in horrible fashion. As Reed Wagner takes his first snap, throws, caught, tackled for a 2-yard gain. But Reed Wagner goes out in that playoff game and throws an interception, what a should-be win to knock him out. Following that, in this offseason, they draft Jaden Young. Reed Wagner throws it away, third down. And we get to see Jaden Young coming out here in the second quarter, third, fourth. All right, 3rd and 8. Reed Wagner takes it, throws, caught, first down. He looks like he might be gone. 30, 20, 10, touchdown Steamers. That is a way to start the preseason for the Steamers. That's exactly what you want to see from Coach Justin Reed Wagner, who's had interception issues after winning the MVP 2 years ago. Come out here, first drive of the preseason, throwing a touchdown. All right, let's see if the Voyagers can respond. You know, Baker has been really high on how this is the start of the Monty Wyatt era. You know, it's going to be his first season starting after benching Glenn Hay in week 5 after he saw he wasn't working for them. So we're going to see Monty Wyatt come on the field here after this kickoff. All right, the Steamers receive, and they'll return it to about the 24-yard line, and we will get our first look at Monty Wyatt, as Baker's been calling it the Monty Wyatt era. You know, they acquire wide receiver Chris Harris for this guy, for Monty, and a lot of others. All right, let's see what Wyatt can do on his first play here. Takes the snap, throws, RPO, caught. 5-yard gain for the Voyagers. All right, 2nd and 5. Play action. Monty throws it. First down, Voyagers. All right, the Voyagers 3 wide. They're trying to answer to the Steamers' instant touchdown. Drops back, is pressured, sacked. Monty Wyatt goes down, sacked by 91. I don't have the bell yet, guys. You're gonna have to let me figure this out. All right, after that sack, brings up a 2nd and long. One running back in the backfield. Throws. Almost intercepted, broken up by the Voyagers. And there's that man, CP. After being traded from the Cougars last year, making an immediate impact on the Steamers last year, helped carry them to that playoff comeback. Pressure again, but gets it off the helmet of Jackson Hunter, I believe. All right, making it a 4th down, and they'll have to punt. All right, the Steamers will start their second drive on the 25. You know, I'm hoping I get to talk about Amir Williams a little bit here after they just went down and scored right away. Amir Williams is a premium back in this league out of Miami, like all good running backs from the college series are. You see a motion. Reed Wagner takes the snap and hands it off to Amir Williams, who makes the man miss, and down at the 42. Just what I was talking about, guys. Love talking about Amir Williams. He's a great community guy. All right, coming out to a double set. All right, takes the snap, gives it back to Amir, who breaks the tackle, and then is swarmed by Voyagers for a 7-yard gain. All right, the Voyagers have made a lot of moves, trading Carter Delahart. You're starting to see this take effect on the D line here. They moved Benji Santana out as he takes the snap, throws, caught. Ooh, dropped by the hard hit from Adam Okoye. Third and 3 here for the Steamers. Drops back, has plenty of time, and is knocked out again by the Voyager secondary. 4th and 3 at the 50. The Steamers have a decision to make here in the early preseason. And they will just punt it back. Oh, but that's going to be a penalty. The Steamers are going to keep the ball. Just jumped right into the punter.
Personal foul. Roughing a kicker.
That's not a mistake you want to see here in the preseason. Just be happy it's happening in the preseason and not the regular.
Automatic first down.
It's moving the Steamers up to the 35-yard line in great scoring position. All right, play action. He's looking, throws it to Amir Williams, and is tackled immediately for a 4-yard gain. Reed Wagner's already at 75 yards for the game. He's only playing a quarter, guys. All right, 2nd and 6. Got pressured, gets it up there. It's caught by Jake Pride again. Down to the 5. The Steamers are known for having this insane receiver trio. As they do a read option, fumbled, picked up by the Voyagers. Reed Wagner isn't the most mobile guy, but I guess they thought they would sneak it in, trick the Voyagers, but it was read all the way through by Adam Okoye, who lays the big hit, creates the turnover, Voyagers ball. All right, Monty Wyatt coming back out for his second drive, trying to get a first down this time. All right, hands off. Goes to the outside. Hit. 2nd and inches. A nice 9-yard gain. All right, 2nd and inches. Steamers come out in a heavy look. Read option, but they give it to the back. Stiffs arms a man. It's tackled forward. Jakari Torres to the 37-yard line. Jakari Torres is another person that Coach Baker's really high on. He's going to start as the #1 back this season with Walton going to the 3rd back. We're hoping to see that Torres gets to play all game this season, coming from the minors last season. All right, play action. Monty checks it down, and it's tackled for a 1-yard gain. He's looking, has time, throws it. It's caught over the middle. First down, Voyagers. All right, takes the snap, hands it off. Jakari Torres gets about 2 yards on that gain there. All right, 2nd and 8. Monty's looking to make a statement. Hits out, he's thrown, but it's dropped by Jackson Hunter. All right, 3rd and long here. He throws it right away, but completely misses the man. The receiver was not ready for him. He had pressure in his face from Diego Zaraga and forced them to punt. Was it out of bounds? The Steamers will start on the 19-yard line. And, I haven't really had a chance to talk about the Steamers draft. They drafted Brian Schneider really high. They're hoping for him to take over as the starting tight end, having a position battle because they have 3 young tight ends. As they'll break a tackle, and it'll be a 1-yard gain. But Justin Jones is really high on Brian Schneider. That's why you drafted him so highly. Brendan Warner, who just got that carry, throws it, dropped. And there goes Parker Palmer, causing that incompletion. Acquired from the Cougars, I believe, 2 seasons ago. All right, Reed Wagner back to pass. Throws it up. The receiver runs underneath it, but drops it. He had a step. Reed Wagner placed it perfectly, but he could not hold on to the ball. Broken up by Parker Palmer again. All right, the Voyagers will start this drive at the 40. Looking to put some points on the board before all the backups come in here. And this offensive line for the Voyagers has really been shuffled around. They have Fabian Collar moving to center and traded for TJ Glasgow in the offseason to really bolster that offensive lineman for their young quarterback, Monty Wyatt, who's going into his third year here in the RFL. All right, that run for no gain brings up a screen. What a block. Gets to the outside. It's a 5-yard gain. All right, Monty Wyatt on third down is looking, is taking for it, gets hit, but it's caught by Nacho Cheese for a first down to the 42-yard line. Nacho Cheese, one of the great tight end veterans here in the RFL, has been one of the best tight ends in RFL history, if not the best. Extending the drive here for the Voyagers. All right, 1st and 10 for the Voyagers. They'll hand it off to Torres, who is stuck immediately. The Steamers' defense was all over that. Immediate block shed up front. Makes a great tackle there. All right, Monty takes the snap. Screen again, but it's the Steamers read it right away. Blown up by the corner. Read it all the way. Saw it, made the tackle. All right, creating a 3rd and very long for Monty Wyatt. Drops back, is getting pressured, but gets it off. Tackled short of the first down by Caden Blair. 4th and 6 from the 38-yard line. I believe this is field goal range. The Voyagers have a decent kicker, and they will attempt the field goal. Let's see if the Voyagers can get some points on the board here in this first quarter. Okay, he's up. And it's good. All right, 7-3 ball game. It's up. Returned by the Steamers to the 29-yard line. All right, Reed Wagner has 1 second to make a play before he's out. All right, motion, takes the snap. Halfback draw, stopped immediately for a 1-yard gain. Now it is time for the man of the hour. Let's get our twos up. All right, and don't forget to tune in, guys, to the second game tonight. Econ will be calling as the Pittsburgh Pioneers take on the Mexico City Diablos. All right, and looking back at this first quarter with the starters in, Romeo Jackson, huge touchdown to start the game, as we have Jaden Young getting his 3 quarters in. Jaden Young's first RFL snap. It's going to be play action. Checks it down to the tight end, who runs past the defender and gets a first down. Brian Schneider making an impact play, getting that chemistry early with Jaden Young. All right, throws it. Checks it down over the middle for a 7-yard gain. Jaden Young 2 for 2 as they come out in an empty set. Justin Jones putting a lot of confidence in this young kid. Takes a snap, has plenty of time, gets hit as he's thrown. 3rd and 3. All right, looks like the defense is pressing up on the bottom of the screen here. 3rd and 3. Jones throws, wide open. First down for the Steamers. You can see the receiver they were in man-to-man. The receiver just ran himself open. Jaden Young saw him and delivered. All right, Brian Schneider out in motion. Jaden Young's looking, throws it, checks it down for a 5-yard gain. All right, let's see this Voyagers defense make a stop. They do, they see it, but they can't get there enough as he breaks the tackle, but gets caught at the 19-yard line. Brendan Warner is another guy that Coach Jones wants to see gets a lot of playing time. He thinks he could be a very valuable number 2 option behind Amir Williams, and is showing why on that run. All right, handoff. A nice 8-yard gain there by Warner. All right, we see a 3-receiver set to the top here. Looks to be a passing formation. As he does hand it off on the trap. Breaks 1 tackle, but is met by second Voyagers defender in the backfield. All right, 3rd and 5. He's looking, has plenty of time, finds Brian Schneider wide open for a first down. That's 2 passes on this drive already from Young to Schneider for a first down. All right, Young and the Steamers inside the 10. They're going to give the ball to Warner, who gets hit for a 1-yard gain. The Steamers with no one over the middle right now. They send a corner blitz. Jaden Young's looking, can't find anybody, is sacked. Down on the play, sacked by Malcolm Thompson, who was originally drafted by the Diablos, then traded to the Marshals, and now traded to the Voyagers. This is this kid's 3rd team in 4 seasons, the DB out of Miami. You know, trying to make a name for himself. Gets the sack on Jaden Young here in the preseason, showing Coach Baker that he wants to stay on this roster. All right, 3rd and goal from the 20. Gets it off, barely in time, pressure. Wide receiver screen to the 10, 5, touchdown Steamers. Larry Clark with the great play. It just set up nicely. They sent a blitz there, letting the receiver and the offensive lineman get out in front of Larry Clark. And Larry Clark does the easy work and just runs free into the end zone. That's a great first drive by the Young Steamers quarterback here, hoping to be the future franchise quarterback. You know, speaking of, that's why he was drafted. You know, Reed Wagner won MVP 2 years ago, went out how he did in the playoffs last year, is on the last year of his contract, is 30 plus at the end of his career. Jaden Young was drafted in the 1st round. He's there to be the replacement for Reed Wagner when his time is go. Oh, as that's a huge hit, stopping him in his tracks at the 27-yard line. All right, coming out in base formation here for the Steamers. Glenn Hay passes, is shut down immediately by a defensive lineman running with a running back. Baker might need to go work on that guy's speed. He's being hawked down by number 71. All right, Glenn Hay, an RFL great, relegated to the backup as he throws it up. He's got a man beat. It's caught. Touchdown, Voyagers. 73 yards, just left wide open by the Steamers. Yeah, he just, number 59 on number 33, just left wide open. A linebacker on a running back, and he just didn't have the speed to keep up. That was an easy touchdown for Glenn Hay. All right, they're making it a game. Going to be 10-14 here. All right, the kick is up. the Steamers will return to about the 27-yard line. We're going to see Jaden Young's second RFL drive coming out. You can see Larry Clark, who had the touchdown last time, is currently 2 for 2 for 34 yards. But Jaden Young, great first drive here in the RFL. Hit all his reads, got pressured a little bit, made his rookie mistakes. As there's a play action, pressured, is sacked. Dead man, sacked by Torres. Yeah, Jaden Young has just got to move in the pocket more, has got to make a quicker read than that. You know, it's not college anymore. The defenders are faster. They're going to get back to you faster. You got to make faster reads. As he takes the snap here on 2nd and 18, finds a wide open man, gets a first down. Larry Clark is just all over the field right now for the Steamers. All right, the hands off to the outside. A nice gain of 4 yards there for the Steamers. Steamers in a heavy set. 2 tight ends. Where they'll hand it off to a wide open lane as he gets caught. It looks like it'll be a 15-yard gain for Brendan Warner. Jaden Young looking to pass, has time, overthrows the receiver in the middle. And that's just what you have to deal with when you have a rookie. You know, he's going to make some mistakes. He's going to overthrow. He's going to underthrow. It's just growing pains that he'll have to work through. As they get a nice block, makes one man miss, but is stopped. Held to a 1-yard gain. Making it 3rd and 9. All right, Jaden Young, it's time to throw. Throws in the middle, first down, Steamers. Jaden Young making all the reads he needs to here. Moving the ball down the field, extending plays, keeping the drive alive. As they come out in an I formation, it'll be play action. Gets the ball away immediately to Stanley Kinfert. A really good vet to be working with Jaden Young. A longtime Tiger and Shamrock. All right, handoff to Brendan Warner. Another wide open lane as he's pushing down to the 6-yard line. You can see why Coach Jones got Brendan Warner to be that secondary punch to Amir Williams as we get to the 2-minute warning to this 14-10 game. All right, don't forget, guys, we have the Pioneers Diablos game after this as they come out in a heavy formation. Fullback dive for a minimal gain, down to the 3. All right, we have a timeout called, trying to save some clock, see if they can get their own score after this. All right, a lot of space to the top there, 3 receivers to the bottom. Low snap, halfback draw for a 2-yard gain down to the 1. Voyagers with another timeout. All right, the Steamers come out. The Voyagers with 8 people near the box here, trying to make sure to stop the run, and they do. Down, short at the 1-yard line again. They can get 4th and goal. Steamers have a decision. Are they going to take the 3? No, they're going to go for it. In an empty set, putting all the pressure on Jaden Young, putting him in these situations early. Let's see how he responds. Takes the snap, is blitzed. Just no one over there. Looks like the receiver and the quarterback just didn't have the connection there. Looks like the receiver mistimed it. Jaden Young just overthrew it. Nonetheless, it's going to be Voyagers' ball at the 1-yard line with 1:40 to go. The Voyagers and Glenn Hay come out in a heavy set. He drops back, He's going to check it down, get a 3-yard gain there to the tight end. All right, they stop the clock by getting out of bounds. Glenn Hay takes the snap, looking, throws it over the middle. Tackled immediately, but we have a flag. Holding on the Voyagers. That's going to be half the distance to the goal line, putting them back on the 2-yard line. All right, the Voyagers hand it off. Oh, an open lane over the middle, breaks the first tackle, but is stopped by the second defender. 3rd and 1. Right, letting the clock run here. Glenn Hayes looking. It's pressured, sacked. It didn't give any time for Glenn Hay there. All right, as they're punting from the back of their end zone, this is going to give Jaden Young and the Steamers plenty of time as they get the return to inside the 40-yard line. Again, putting the young quarterback in another key situation to learn from as they have a 2-minute drill inside the 38. You just want to come away with points in this situation, and this is where you want to see young quarterbacks succeed. As Ryan Schneider motions. Takes a snap, 3-man rush, wide open for a quick 7-yard gain. As the Steamers call another timeout. Again, you don't need to go for it all here. Let's see if they'll just keep chipping away. All right. Split back. The Voyagers rush 3. Firing wide open. Well, not wide open, but fires into a tight window. Quick first down. Back to Larry Clark again. Quickly becoming one of his best friends. In between 3 defenders. Just lays it in perfectly. All right, 2 running back set. They hand it off. Tries to get to the outside, but is stopped for a 1-yard loss. 12 seconds left. They call a timeout. All right, they're going to come out and go for it. You can see they're pressed at the top and bottom of the screen here as they motion the receiver across and back. Takes the snap, is looking, it's pressured, gets hit while it's thrown, and out of bounds. 6 seconds left, 3rd and 11. And they're going to opt to just take the field goal here in the half. It's up, and it's good. 17-10 for the Voyagers. All right, Glenn Hayes going to take the snap with 3 seconds left in the half. Looks like it's going to be a Hail Mary. He gets hit as he throws. And caught down to the 18. All right, guys. So what a first half here, huh? Got the Steamers coming up, 17-10 at half. Great game so far. We have Reed Wagner throwing a touchdown on his first drive. Had Jaden Young coming out getting a touchdown on his first drive. Had Monty Wyatt go down with some scores. And then had Glenn Hay come down and put some points on the board. It's been a great game so far. Every quarterback who's played. We had those 1 turnover, so clean game, 1 penalty. Don't forget, right after this, we're going to have P1 on the call for the Pittsburgh Pioneers versus the Mexico City Diablos. As I don't know what's happened here. Looks like they skipped the kickoff, and there's no audio. Smitty, I'm not sure what's going on here. Glenn Hay takes the snap, throws, caught wide open over the middle, and 3rd and inches as the Voyagers are in the red zone. All right, it looks like they're lining up for a QB sneak. And they got it. 1st and goal from the 7-yard line. Glenn Hay, motion man, play action, got pressure in his face, throws it up, it's caught, turns up the field for a 1-yard gain. Yeah, the game audio is gone from me, guys. Is gone from me too, guys. I can't hear it. As Glenn Hay throws it backwards for a 5-yard loss. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on, guys. I guess, Forbes gets in the booth, and they just don't want to give me game audio. So, I guess I'm just going to listen to nothing while we talk about this. This is a handoff and a 7-yard gain to 4th and goal. I don't remember turning the game audio off. Well, the Voyagers were gifted with red zone territory and only get 3 out of it. This is off. That's off. Yeah. All right. I fixed it. I don't know what I did, but game audio is back, guys. As the Voyagers kick off and the Steamers get it back to the 27-yard line. All right, a little glitchy there for the first 4 minutes of this half, but we're back, 17-13 ball game, and Jaden Young's back out here. All right, and then motion convert. Jaden Young takes a snap, hands it off to Warner, who's met by 3 different Voyagers defenders in the backfield for a loss of 1. All right, takes the snap, play action. He's looking, pressure, gets it off, but low. You can see how the speed is getting to Jaden Young. The speed of the game changing from college to the pros. Gets a little bit of pressure in his face from the backside and throws it low away from the receiver. All right, 3rd and long. Got some pressure in his face, but throws a dot that's dropped by Stanley Kenford. The pass was a little high from Young, but it's the pros, man. You're a veteran receiver. As you've all heard, if your hand's on the ball, you got to catch it. All right, it's stopped immediately on the return at the 33-yard line. We'll see Glenn Hay, longtime Voyager, who one time led the Voyagers to the Reload Bowl, but as he gets up in age, he's just not the same guy anymore. Benched in week 5 of last season as they run play action, has plenty of time, but feels the pressure and is a dead man. 5-yard sack. This was part of the reason you saw him get benched last season. He's just taking too long in the pocket. All right, on 2nd and 15, they see a corner blitz as he checks down and gets 4 yards back. All right, we got 2 receivers at the top and bottom. All right, Steamers rush forward, set up the screen. Running back goes inside. Tackled for a 2-yard gain, 4th and 9. See, we still got Taylor Mays out there in the second half of a preseason game. I guess Coach Jones just doesn't want anyone to get any rest. He says he just doesn't care that it's for the rookies. He said, go out there and win me a game. As this return is out at the 29-yard line. We'll see the Steamers offense back on the field. All right, the Voyagers loading the box. They've been getting killed by the run game. It's a pass. Jaden Young's got plenty of time. Throws it over into a wide open Schneider, who gets a first down and more. All right, we got bunched to the bottom of the screen. Voyagers all at the line. Free blitz. Tackled. Dead man by Hyde. He just came free right up the middle. I wish we got a replay of that. The left guard just didn't touch anybody. Let him right through. As he takes the snap, 2nd and 15. Throws to the drag. Gets about 9 yards there. Setting up a 3rd and manageable. Jaden Young making adjustments. So looking, they've rushed 5. He's scrambling. Throws it. Dropped by Brian Schneider. All right, they're going to attempt a long field goal here. 56 yards. It's up. And it's good from the Voyagers, making it a touchdown game. Or good for the Steamers. All right, the Voyagers will take this return, and they'll start at the 30-yard line. Not as good as the 30-yard line start they got at the beginning of the half, but they're doing it the right way this time. All right, Glenn Hay under center. Hands the ball off. Great lane. First down. 12 yards gain to Wharton. All right, empty set here for Glenn Hay. As he looking, pump fake, throws it, check down, caught, spin move. 2nd and 1 at the 59-yard line.
It's a gain of 9. Brings up 2nd and a yard at the 49-yard line.
All right, 2nd and short. Motion the tight end across. Barely gets the snap off, but they get the first down. Going to a power run game here to start this drive. Trying to get the run game going, making it easier on Glenn Hay here. As you can see, the corner pressed up top on the bigger receiver. As they do play action, he feels the pressure hit while throwing, but gets it to the running back, who is tackled immediately for a 3-yard gain. Glenn Hay trying to be a veteran, trying to get the ball out and do the right things, being mentor to Monty Wyatt. As they send a corner blitz, as he throws it to the outside for a 2-yard gain. Another 3rd down here. As they'll hand it off, he gets to the outside. There's no one there. He gets more to the 26, a 13-yard gain by Morton. Again, this is what the Voyagers want. They want a dominant run game this season to take things off of their quarterbacks. All right, play action, but people come unblocked. Dead man Glenn Hay. 4th sack of the game for the Steamers. And this is another guy that Coach Jones has been talking about. D-tackle Ralph Singh. You know, he's trying to make a standout, trying to get more people in the trenches. Coach Jones knows how important trench play is on the offensive and defensive line. To have studs at every position and as starters and backups. All right, after the sack, makes it 2nd and 18. So they run a jet sweep. That's blown up immediately. Play there by Jaquan Snow, another former Shamrock legend, you could say. And that'll be the end of the 3rd quarter. All right, let's get our 4s up. As we have a great game going to the last quarter here. A 7-point lead for the Steamers. We've seen scoring in every quarter now. Let's see if Jaden Young can end this game or if Glenn Hay is going to play upset to the rookie's debut. Remember, at 9 o'clock today, we have the Pittsburgh Pioneers and the Mexico City Diablos with Pecan on the call. As we start the fourth quarter with Glenn Hay at the 37-yard line and a 3rd and 21 after a sack and a blown-up jet sweep. No motion of man. Takes the snap. Tosses it up. Wide open, but throws it out of bounds. Glenn Hay's got to lead him more inside. The receiver had a step. They could have scored. As we get a 54-yard field goal attempt. Kicks up. And it is good. We are back to a 4-point game. As it barely sneaks in there. Oh, breaks one tackle, tries to spin, but is down at the 27.
They'll take over 1st down and 10 at their own 27-yard line.
All right, we also saw in this draft that Coach Jones drafted 4 or 5 offensive linemen. We're seeing a bunch play today, blocking for Jaden Young. As he'll hand off, gets to the outside. It's free. He's got a 1st down and more. It isn't stopped until after a 20-plus yard gain. Huge play for the Steamers to start this drive, trying to seal the game away. And the ball off again and get another lane for 5 yards. 2nd and 5. It'll be a 3rd handoff in a row as he breaks a tackle for a 1st down inside the 35-yard line. We just talked about how Jones drafted all these offensive linemen, and you can see them making an immediate impact here in the 4th quarter, blocking for Brendan Warner. They've had 3 straight run plays, 30-plus yards gained in all 3. All right, Schneider motioning out again. Oh, flag. It looks like we're going to have a delay game here on Young. Again, just another one of those rookie mistakes. The game got to him. He'll motion the guy faster next time. So you have the Voyagers with 4 down here. Gets it out right away. Caught. About a 4-yard gain here. All right, 2nd and long. Jaden Young drops back. Has time, gets pressured, sacked. Brought down again by Hyde, his 2nd sack of the game. Jaden Young, again, just holding on to the ball too long. Needs to make quicker decisions. Both teams now with 4 sacks or more. But we've seen a lot of sacks so far through last game when we saw the Marshals and Bisons play. As it gets hit while thrown again. Needs to get the ball out sooner on that drag. And how about that Marshals-Bisons game? Just realized I haven't touched on that. What a great game last night by Coach Hodge. Getting to see Vince Reed, Leo Moon, Tyler Alargamante, the new addition of Flame. You know, getting to see Kyshawn Williams back out there. And then for the Bisons, getting to see Ethan Marks and Bo Sanders and CJ Johnson. You know, but Coach Hodge last game really made a statement with that win, forcing all those fumbles, having a stellar defensive performance. As we get back to Glenn Hay and the Voyagers. Runs the play action, pressured, gets hit while thrown, out of bounds. Glenn Hay will take the snap on 2nd down. Another play action. Overthrows the drag.
Intended for number 17. Incomplete. Brings up a 3rd down and 10 yards.
All right, 3rd and 10 from their own 9. They send 6. They almost get there, but he gets it off in time. Swatted away by Babadook. Another great college series player, finally getting some more playing time this season. and they'll punt it back to the Steamers. The Steamers will start this drive at around the 50. All right, the Voyagers with 7 in the box. All right, halfback draw, wide open lane, makes a man miss. Another 10-yard game. T.J. Jones and Brendan Warner are going off for the Steamers right now. I don't think anyone in this game is stopping the Steamers' run. And so we'll drop back, throw it quickly to Schneider for a nice 14-yard game. Schneider, 5 catches, almost 70 yards. Another great young player we're getting to see in his first RFL game. All right, play action, hit Schneider again for a 6-yard gain. The Voyagers with 5 on the line. All right, another handoff, but is stopped immediately this time for a 2-yard loss. All right, 3rd down for the Steamers. 3 yards away from the red zone as they send a blitz. Pressure in his face, gets it off, but is short of the 1st down. Jaden Young felt that pressure and got it out as soon as he could. The receiver just couldn't make a play to get the 1st. All right, the Steelers are setting up for a field goal. It's up. And it's good. 23-16, back to a touchdown game.
Visitors 23, our home team 16.
We have 6 minutes, we'll say 6.5 minutes here for Glenn Hay and the Voyagers offense to make a play. They had the one long touchdown to Morton when he was smashing him on the linebacker, but other than that, haven't really been able to get another scoring opportunity. 3 field goals. Trying to get into the end zone again to tie the game up. As they hand it off for a 7-yard gain.
He's brought down at the 37-yard line. A 7-yard pickup brings up 2nd and
All right, single back set. As they'll hand it off again. Finds the hole, makes a man miss for a 1st down. All right, under 6 minutes left in the final quarter, and Glenn Hay has gotten the ball moving using this run game. As they'll run it again, as he'll go to the outside, a block by Godspeed, but doesn't matter. Tackled for no gain. The Steamers DBs were able to get out there in time.
no gain on the play. Brings up 2nd and 10.
All right, Glenn Hay takes the snap, is looking, throws, caught, 1st down and more to the 30, tackled at the 25-yard line. All right, coming in the butt set to the bottom, another handoff, good spin, 3-yard gain. The Voyagers have gotten inside the red zone now, looking to tie this game up. Out in the I formation, looking to run the ball right down the Steamers' throat. But they'll run play action, and is hit while he's thrown, incomplete, 3rd down. Both quarterbacks have been feeling the pressure from these defensive lines tonight. 3rd and 7, they send a blitz, he throws it up, it's intercepted! The Steamers intercept the ball in the end zone. Lawrence Sears for what could be the game-ending play. Just went up and over the receiver, snagged out of the air, said it's mine, and is going back home to Memphis, hopefully with this Jaden Young led win. That could be it. There's under 4 minutes left. Jaden Young just needs to bleed this clock. So they'll hand it off and get a nice 5-yard gain on first down. They're going to lean on this offensive line to will them home. As you can see, the Steamers have 100 more total yards than the Voyagers. All right, handoff again. Hit his own player, but still a nice 4-yard gain. Taking us under 3 minutes in the empty set, the Steamers. Jaden Young's looking. Still looking. Jumps it down. Schneider only gets short of the line. 4th and inches. Schneider, the big body tight end, has got to lay out more for that one. The Steamers will punt it back, giving the Voyagers another chance. The Voyagers will start this drive at the 36-yard line. 2 minutes and 22 seconds left as Glen A comes back after throwing that interception in the end zone. All right, Voyagers with 2 timeouts and the 2-minute warning left. They don't have to go pass heavy, but they will pass. They get a first down, giving Glen Hay 200 yards in the game so far, and it looks like we'll go down to the 2-minute warning. What a great game here so far, guys. A touchdown game with the Voyagers with the ball. As we're going to see Pioneers and Diablos right after this with Pecan on the call. Glen Hay takes the snap, is looking, throws, overthrows the drag route, but it was covered up. So a good overthrow, as it likely would have been broken up anyway.
It's now 2nd and 10.
All right. The Steamers rush 4, and the pressure checks it down for a 6-yard gain. 3rd and 4, with about a minute and a half left in the game. Takes the snap, pressure in his face, is sacked again. P.D. Leckrum with a huge play there. 4th and 11, time's clicking. He throws it, and it's up in the air. Turnover on downs. Steamers will get the ball at the 45-yard line. What a great play there before from T.D. Leckrum. And then another play here to knock the ball in the air, not let the receiver catch it. All right, the Voyagers have 2 timeouts here. The Steamers just need a first down to ice the game. All right, Jaden Young, corner blitz, picked up greatly. Schneider with the ball, rushes forward, 8-yard gain, 2nd and 2. What a great pickup by the offensive lineman there. Saw there was no one on him, saw the corner coming, and took the corner. All right, I formation. Halfback stretch, he cuts it back, but it's short, 3rd and 1. They bore their 2nd timeout. All right, 3rd and 1. First down here will ice the game. As they hand it off, and it's tackled short, 4th and 1. The Steamers are going to, or the Voyagers aren't going to have a lot of time left, but they'll have something. As Adam Okoye just comes unblocked, Baker told Okoye, go get him one play. As the Steamers are going to go for it. They hand it off, and he broke 1 tackle but couldn't break the 2nd. What a crazy decision here by Justin Jones in the preseason to go for it on 4th and 1 while you have the lead with 30 seconds left. So now the Voyagers are going to get the ball, 35 seconds left, and have a chance to do something. All right, on the 35, 26 seconds. Takes the snap. Sacked, fumble, recovered by the Steamers. It doesn't matter. They get the ball back. Jaquan Snow with the fumble recovery. That is game. So Jones knew what he was doing the entire time. He said, go for it on 4th and 1. We're just going to get the ball back anyway. They do that, and Jaden Young's just going to take a knee and run the clock out. TD Leckrum with 2 huge sacks here in the 4th quarter. And the Steamers do win here 23-16. What a debut by Brian Schneider and Jaden Young. Also got to see Baba Duke made a couple plays. Brendan Warner had a lot of great plays. The first drive of this game, we had Jake Pride and Romeo Jackson connecting. Jake Pride and Reed Wagner connecting for a long touchdown. Jake Pride recently back in the Discord from what I heard. This bomb to the running back for the Voyagers' only touchdown of the day was a great play to see from Glenn Hay. A lot of great plays by a lot of young players here. 4 TFLs from the rookie Torres. 2 sacks from JT Hyde. We can see Jaden Young in his first game. 200 yards, 70% completion, 1 touchdown. Not a bad way to start. Warner, 17 for 53. Jones, 6 for 58. Jake Pride, obviously, with that huge touchdown. But how about Schneider and Larry Clark doing a lot of work for Jaden Young out there? How about the plays that sealed the game? TD Leckrum and Lawrence Sears creating that sack, fumble, and that interception in the red zone. All right, guys, that's all from Forbes. And don't forget to check out the next game starting in about 20 minutes as the Pittsburgh Pioneers take on the Mexico City Diablos. And I'll see you guys